Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and returning for the Tarantula YouTuber guide series that I am doing. So this week is actually from Rob from Spoods N Stuff. He has great knowledge on quite a lot of tarantulas, true spiders. He loves true spiders, and he has quite a lot of geckos as well. He's recently just done a bioactive enclosure for a gecko and it is amazing. So yeah, if you want to learn bioactive stuff, how to set things up like that, go check Rob's channel out. It's amazing the amount of knowledge that he has for this sort of stuff. So yeah, so Rob's channel is Spoods N Stuff, and he also is a host on the Webbers. It's on a Thursday night, so it's him, Tanya, that's previously been on this series. We have Jen as well, who is also on this series. Then there is Renee from Raw Reptiles, and there is Angela from Angel Blogs UK. So yeah, shout out to the Webbers. So I have rambled on enough about this, so I will leave this up to Rob and I will come back at the end.
Hi, my name's Rob. My channel is called Spoods N Stuff. I do a lot of spider related content, something to do with my geckos. I do enclosure builds and a couple of other little bits and pieces. So check that out. What got me into the hobby? Well, I actually started around about 3 years ago now. I actually started with geckos. I first got a gargoyle gecko, my male. That turned into 3 gargoyle geckos within 2 weeks, which it happens. And then I ended up getting a crested gecko as well. And from there, I started doing a little bit of research into other animals. I've always been fascinated by animals, but I decided to just have a look at other animals, and tarantulas seem to be a really good pet to keep. So I did my research, really started getting into it, into the different sorts you get, into the different species, the difference between the old worlds, the new worlds, the arboreals, the terrestrials and all that lot. And I decided to take the plunge and get into the tarantula hobby as well. My first tea was a Carabiner versicolor. I bought it at the Brighton Invert Show in 2018, I think. Maybe. Can't remember. I think it was 2018, but it was definitely the Brighton Invert Show. I actually went there looking for a versicolor because that's the first tarantula I wanted. You know, you see pictures of them online and they're absolutely stunning. So I got my first one, which was like a grown-on sling, and unfortunately it died. It molted with me once and it was fine. It seemed like it was doing all right, but then all of a sudden it just died. I know these things happen. Avics are really, really finicky to keep. Maybe it was something I did, I hope not, but either way that tarantula died. But since then I've got loads and loads more, and I've actually got another juvenile versicolor now, so that's good. Top 3 places to buy tarantulas from. Well, I suppose there's all the obvious ones. I mean, I would say the Spider Shop and So Many Legs are the best 2 in the country, hands down. Now, I've not bought from Portsmouth tarantulas, so I can't say what they're like, but one of the other places that I found is a really good place to buy tarantulas is actually on a place called Tarantula Forum. There's quite a few sort of well-known breeders on there, and I've bought a few tarantulas from one of them and I've never had any problems with them. You know, there's always been good communication when I've bought them. There's always been, I mean, the spiders have always been fantastic. I have had a couple of DOAs, but that even happens with the big sellers. But yeah, I would say they're the top 3 places. Spider Shop, So Many Legs, and some of the breeders on Tarantula Forum. Brilliant. Something interesting about myself. I suppose it's pretty interesting. There's a bit of a story I've got. I was once chased in Sri Lanka. I actually cycled around the coast of Sri Lanka just because why not? And I spent 10 days. I was actually there for 3 weeks, but I actually spent 10 days cycling around the coast. So it was a total of 900 miles, but at one point I was actually chased by wild elephants. I mean, I've never been so scared in my life. It was awful, it was horrendous, it was so scary, but afterwards you can't help but laugh about it. I mean, I really did come quite close to being mullered by a pack of elephants, and the adrenaline is just unreal. But yeah, I managed to survive and tell the tale, so I suppose that is quite interesting, really. So the species of tarantula that I'm going to be featuring is this. This is Homoeomma Chilensis, the Chilean flame dwarf. Now, she's one of my favourite tarantulas. She is just absolutely stunning. She's adorable as well. And she's also pretty damn calm. Now, you can see from her abdomen, she is in pre-molt. Quite bad pre-molt now. She's been this way for a few months, and she's going to take another few months to molt, because when I bought her, about 2 years ago I bought her, and she was actually like this when I bought her, and it took her 6 months after that to molt originally. But they are just an adorable species. As their name suggests, they're from Chile. They're a dwarf species. She's about 3.5 inches in leg span, and she's not actually going to get any bigger than that. That's it. That's what they top out at. Now, obviously, being from Chile, she's a New World tarantula. Her main form of defence would be the urticating hairs. Now, she's not really a defensive tarantula. She's really, really calm, and they're actually quite inquisitive. They will wander about. I mean, she's in quite a big enclosure. She's in one of the coffin-shaped enclosures, and she does use all that space. She does wander around. Now, I know a lot of people say it's not necessary, but I like to give her that bit of room just so that she can wander, because that's what they like to do. The average lifespan, I believe, is something like 15 years on these, maybe a little bit more. Being a slow-growing species, they do tend to live a little bit longer. She's a terrestrial spider, as you can see. She just wanders around the ground. Now, she's always out on display. She very, very rarely hides. She does have a hide, but she just doesn't use it. Now, they're a very dry species, so the only kind of humidity they need is a water bowl. That's it. I very rarely spray the enclosure on this one because it's just not necessary. They like it pretty much bone dry. I would say that this is an ideal tarantula for a beginner. I really would, because of the fact that they are just so docile, so easy to look after. Now, the only thing that I would say goes against them in that regard would be the fact that they are so slow growing. If you can find a juvenile or an adult, then great, buy it, snap it up. But if you want to get one as a sling, I mean, that's also good, but they will take years to grow. You know, people buy them as a tiny, tiny sling, and a few years later, they've still got a tiny, tiny sling. There's no speeding these little guys up, I'm afraid. Now, as far as eating goes, she is very picky. She just does not eat very often. A lot of people say that these are great eaters. Maybe as slings they are, but I know as adults, they do tend to fast quite a lot. And that is definitely the case with this one, because she will go months and months without eating. Now, it's not that I don't offer her food, because I do. It's just that she chooses not to. But I love her. I mean, she is just adorable. She normally, if she wasn't in pre-molt, I would be able to handle her. I have done on previous videos of mine, and, you know, anyone could come along and handle her. You know, she's just so docile, and that's why I love her, because she's a good display tarantula. She's really, really nice and calm. You never have any problems with her. In my eyes, she's the perfect tarantula.
So, there you go. That's Rob and his tarantula spider. Yeah. So, I actually don't know anything about this tarantula spider. So, yeah. So, it's actually like a learning thing for me as well. That is. So, it's nice doing this sort of thing, because like I actually do learn as well with you guys. I only have a certain amount of knowledge. I don't have like amazing, like vast knowledge as well. So like doing this actually brings other knowledge in, and I am still learning with you guys as well. So this is just a great example of that. So yeah, again, thank you for doing this for me, Rob. And if you're not subscribed, or if you're not following him on Instagram or anything like that, the information will be down below and you can go follow him that way. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you again in the comments.